What's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm doing an updated WIZARD101 Worlds tier list in 2024. Throughout the years, my opinions on the worlds have definitely changed. Some are for the better and some are worse. I feel like as I've grown older on Wiz, my appreciation for certain worlds have definitely changed. When I was a kid, I might have loved certain worlds, but now as an adult, I don't really like them as much, or vice versa. As a kid, I might have hated a world, but now I really love it. And that's why I really like making these tier lists, because you can see your thoughts and opinions change throughout the years. So huge shout out to Stormcloud for making this tier list, and it has all the worlds from Wizard City to Waloo. And we are going to be ranking them S tier through F tier. So let's just get right on into it. So first up on the list, we have Wizard City. Now I absolutely adore Wiz City. I don't know if it's the nostalgia of it and just remembering the first time that I played WIZARD101 and talking to Ambrose and going to Unicorn Way. There is nothing that can make me hate Wizard City. The game is so pretty and happy when you first start out, and I absolutely love that. I also really like the updated Wizard City. I know that a lot of people might have a controversial opinion about this, but I personally really like the update that they did for Wiz City, where instead of having to like run to Unicorn Way, it just throws you right on in there. And I think for a new user, that is really nice. So I am going to have to place Wizard City at S tier. I absolutely love this world. Like I said, there is nothing that this world could possibly do that could make me hate it. It's just so pretty and bright and happy, and I love it. The next world that we have is Cocotopia. Now, Cocotopia is also really nostalgic for me. When I was a kid, my parents never got me a membership because they thought that Wiz was a scam. So I was 18 when I first made it past the paywall and made it into Cocotopia. And I just remember it being amazed with how pretty it is. I know some people can say that Cocotopia might look a little bit dull, but I personally really like it. I love the theme of Egypt and everything like that. And I think that Croc does a really good job introducing you to simple and easy bosses so that you are set up for what's coming later on in Wiz. I think that the Oasis is such a pretty zone. You will see that that is a theme here in this video. I love pretty, happy, bright places. So that's why I really enjoy Croc. So I'm also going to have to put Croc pretty high up on this list. It's not going to be an S tier, but I definitely think it is an A tier. Now, next up, we have Marley Bone. Now, I personally really like Marley Bone. I love the cat and dog theme of it all. And I also really like that it is set during the nighttime. The sky in Marley Bone is so cool, with it being a dark blue with all the stars up there. I really love the aesthetics of Marley Bone. Looking back now, the dungeons in Marley Bone are really cool. They can be frustrating when you're going through there as a low-level wizard, but now looking back on them, I really love the mechanics that they had. So for those reasons, I am also going to put Marley Bone pretty high up on the list, and I'm going to place it right behind Cocotopia. Now, this next one up on the list might be a bit of a hot take, but it is Mushu. Now, I really wished that I liked Mushu more than I do. I don't know what it is. It's a bright, pretty world. The story is not so bad, but for some reason for me, it just feels so long and dragged out. Like when I think of Mushu, I just think about having to run across the world on these defeat and collect quests where you have to go to point A to point B, back to point A. And for some reason, that's all I can think about when I think of Mushu. Even like the dungeons, I think they had a lot of running around in them. But I do really think that Mushu has a very beautiful theme. And so for that reason, I am going to put it at a B tier. Now, the next world that we have up is Spire. Now, I am not a big Spire fan at all. It is dark, it is gloomy, it is not my cup of tea. I remember being dragged into so many fights there by accident. And I remember Spire being a struggle for a low-level wizard. I remember some of the dungeons and bosses at this world being so difficult for no reason. So for those reasons, now I hate to do this, but Spire is going into F tier. I really do not like Spire, but I do like the Voracious Void raid. I guess I just like Spire for raiding, not for questing. Now, next up, we have Grizzleheim, and I'm pretty neutral about Grizzleheim. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I remember questing through there and it being kind of annoying because it's not a main quest line, so you don't get as much XP for doing it. So it kind of just feels like, why am I questing here? I'm just wasting my time. But I do think that it's really pretty and I really like the concept of it all. So for that reason, I am going to put it in C tier. So the next world that we have up is Celestia. Now, I really like Celestia. I love the whole underwater theme of it all, but I also like how the quest makes us go up up on land. So I really like how you start out and you're essentially in this really big fish bowl. I always thought the Celestia was really cool and really pretty, and I don't really mind questing there at all. So for that reason, I'm going to put Celestia at an A tier. Now, this next world is also not a main questline world, but it is super pretty, and that is Wisteria. Now, I really wish that they did more in Wisteria because that place is absolutely stunning. Now, I really love the lore of Wisteria and how it's sort of like an alternate universe. If we didn't end up going to Ravenwood, we could have gone to Wisteria to be wizards, and I just think that that is really cool. I really wish that WIZARD101 did more with Wisteria. So for those reasons, I am going to put Wisteria at a B tier, and who knows, maybe they might come back to Wisteria one day. Up next on our list, we have Zafaria. Now, I also really like Zafaria. I think that it's a super cool world. The theme of it all is really nice, and I don't know, I think that the quest line is pretty cool, and just like the zones that they have in Zafaria itself are pretty neat. And also the music here slaps. I remember questing in Zafaria, and I feel like it always goes by really quick. So for those reasons, I am going to put Zafaria at a B tier as well. Now, the next world that we have up is Avalon. I wish that I could like Avalon more, but once again, I feel like questing there is just so long and dragged out. And all I can remember from questing there is just having to run from one point to another point, back to the other point. I don't even really remember what happens in between. I just remember it being super annoying. But the world itself is really cool and pretty. I love how bright it is and how colorful it is. I just really wish that I could personally get into the theme more. So for those reasons, I'm going to have to put Avalon at a C tier. Now, next up, we have Azteka. Now, I know that Azteka is a pretty controversial world for a lot of people, but me personally, I don't really find Azteka to be that bad. It could be way worse. I do know that it's a very long world, but for me, the story is pretty engaging, so I don't find it that bad. I don't really know if this counts, but the Crying Sky raid is absolutely beautiful, and it is also set in Azteka. I know that doesn't really have to do with questing, but I do think that that raid is absolutely beautiful. I wish that it was easier, but it's definitely pretty. So for those reasons, I am going to put Azteka at a B tier. Now, the next world we have up is Aquala. Now, I absolutely love this zone. I feel like WIZARD101 did such an amazing job making this place look so cool. I really love the lore of Aquala, and I really enjoy all the dungeons that are there as well. I remember farming for my level 30 gear and feeling so cool once I finally got it, because that's really the first dungeon that you farm to get a full gear set. So for those reasons, I'm going to put Aquala at an A tier. Now, next up, we have Crysalis, and I am not a big Crysalis fan whatsoever. I don't like how dull and barren it is. I also really don't like bugs. So for those reasons alone, I am putting it at F tier. It is also extremely long and boring in my personal opinion. And yeah, it really just comes down to the bugs, man. I don't like bugs. Now, next up on the list, we have the 4 dungeons. And this represents, I think, Barkingham Palace and Darkmoor. And I really love those older dungeons. I love the mechanics in them, and I love how much of a team-based effort it was to defeat those dungeons. I remember farming Darkmoor over and over again, but for some reason I was still motivated to do it because it was just really cool. So for that reason, I am going to put the 4 dungeons at a B tier. Now, next up, we have a Polaris, which is my absolute favorite world. I love Polaris so much. It is so beautiful, and as someone who was born in Russia, I am very based, so I am just automatically going to put Polaris at an S tier. I think that this world is so cute. I love the polar bears and just the whole ice theme of it all, and I just think it is so beautiful. Now, next up, we have the Arcanum, and I really like this place. I know that it isn't a world that you like quest in or anything like that, but I really love the chill ambiance music that they have there, and I really like the second apartment that you get, and it's also a nice place to get potions without having to go back to Wizard City. So I really like the Arcanum, and I don't know, I mean, I know it's not like a main questline world or anything, but I still think that it's really pretty nonetheless. So I think I am going to put this at an A tier. I don't know, I feel like it's just really pretty and a really nice chill place. Next up, we have Imperia, and honestly, the only thing I remember from questing through Imperia was how challenging some of the bosses were. So for that reason, I know it's a pretty world and all, but it was just so annoying and frustrating. It is going to have to go at C tier for me. I do think that they have really cool cutscenes here though, so I do have to give it some bonus points for that, but it's still going at a C tier. Now, next up, we have Mirage. Now, surprisingly, I really like Mirage, even though it's sandy and dull and barren, but I really like the story here, and I think that the quest line is really funny. You also get your cute little skull companion in Mirage, and he follows you around, and I think that he is super funny. So for that reason, I am going to put Mirage at an A tier. I don't know, I think that it's also a really pretty place and super chill. I really like the main area in Mirage. All I can remember is that the teleport hubs have the little flying carpets on it, and I think that is super cute. Next up, we have Caramel, and I am also very biased towards Caramel. As someone who grew up in Switzerland, I absolutely love the theme in Caramel. I love the little Willkommen zu Caramel. I think that that's so cute. I know that some people might hate it. I really like Nana, and I absolutely love Caramel. So I am going to put it at an S tier. Now, next up, we have the Catacombs, I believe. Now, I surprisingly don't hate this area, even though we are in a sewage pipe, essentially. But I remember farming for my gear here and being here for hours on end. But I honestly thought that it was a pretty cool area. I don't know, just something about it seems really cool and creepy, and I just really like the whole vibe of it all. There's also always a ton of people in team up, so if you are trying to farm for gear in the Catacombs, it's not super difficult. And the dungeons were super easy, nothing like the Nightmare dungeon where you could just team up and get your gear, and it was honestly pretty nice. So for those reasons, I am going to put the Catacombs at a B tier. Now, the next world up we have is Lemuria. Now, I unfortunately am not the biggest Lemuria fan, solely based on the old one. I am not an old one fan. He just gives me a headache. He never knows where he is or what's going on. He's confused, I'm confused. It's just never a good time when he's around. So for that reason, I'm going to put Lemuria at a C tier. Coming close to the end here, we have Novus. Now, I absolutely adored Novus. I think that they absolutely killed Novus. It has such a cool, creepy vibe to it. Just the main area itself looks absolutely amazing. I really have nothing but good things to say about Novus. I really like the storyline, and I don't know, I just really like how cool and creepy it is. So for that reason, I'm going to put Novus at an A tier. I don't really like it as much as Caramel, but Caramel is going to be pretty hard to beat. Same with Polaris and Wizard City. So therefore, Novus is going at an A tier. Now, last but certainly not least, we have Waloo. Now, I personally really liked Waloo. I liked how pretty and cute it was. The main area, I really liked all the nuances that they had in the game. And I know that it was a bit of a challenging world, but I honestly really liked that challenging aspect. I also think that the world is super bright and pretty, and I really like how it's not super long. It's over pretty quick, and I really like the length of Waloo. So for those reasons, I am going to put Waloo at an A tier. So yeah, guys, there is our final tier list for the WIZARD101 world in 2024. What are your thoughts? Do you agree or disagree with what I am saying? What is your favorite WIZARD101 world? Leave it in a comment down below. If you want to discuss things further with me, make sure to join my Discord server. I will have it linked down below, and I would love to chat about WizWorlds with you guys. But yeah, that is going to be it for me. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!